You walk into a room you've never been in before. For a brief moment, you feel like you already know what's around the corner. You recognize this feeling. It lasts maybe 2 seconds, then it fades, leaving you standing there wondering, why does this place feel familiar? For much of the 20th century, déjà vu was difficult to study. It's short, unpredictable, and most people only experience it a few times a year. By the time you realize what's happening, it's already over. Researchers couldn't ask someone to produce it on command in a lab. However, that is beginning to change. The answer is turning out to be stranger and more reassuring than the idea of a brain glitch. Let's start with Cleary, a researcher at Colorado State University. She has spent 2 decades exploring an idea called the Gestalt familiarity hypothesis. This theory suggests that déjà vu occurs when the layout of a new place resembles that of a place you've visited before, though you can't recall that earlier place. Imagine passing by a hospital nursing station you've never seen. The counter's position is just like a pair of welcome tables you stood near at a school event a year ago. You don't remember the event, yet you experience an unexpected sense of familiarity. Cleary tested this idea using virtual reality. She placed participants in controlled room-sized scenes, allowing them to look around as if they were really there. Some scenes had identical spatial setups but appeared to be different places: a courtyard, a museum, a bedroom, or a subway platform. People consistently reported experiencing more déjà vu and greater familiarity in scenes that shared layouts with earlier scenes, even when they couldn't recall those earlier scenes. In some trials, the new scene was one they'd actually seen before but didn't recognize. The room felt new to them consciously, but the underlying layout wasn't. Before we continue, has déjà vu ever hit you in a specific place, like a hallway, a waiting room, or a house you visited just once? Share your experiences in the comments. I want to see if these memories tend to cluster in similar spaces. Now let's discuss a key finding that changes our understanding of déjà vu. In 2016, cognitive neuroscientist Akira O'Connor at the University of St. Andrews scanned people's brains while they experienced déjà vu. He used a lab method involving word lists that can reliably trigger the sensation. He showed people a set of related words, then presented an unrelated word, which created a strong feeling of familiarity. O'Connor expected to see activity in the brain's memory retrieval areas, the hippocampus and nearby temporal lobe. Instead, he found activity in the frontal and parietal regions, the medial prefrontal cortex and anterior cingulate. These areas help monitor conflicts and check for errors, similar to when your brain catches a contradiction or double-checks a decision. Follow-up research from O'Connor's team, including a 2021 imaging study with the same approach, confirmed this pattern. Déjà vu is linked to brain regions that check for memory errors, not those responsible for generating memories in the first place. Combine these two findings, and the understanding of déjà vu shifts dramatically. It's not your memory system malfunctioning and sending a false message. Instead, it's your memory system catching a false signal, the unearned familiarity from a matching layout, and labeling it as suspicious in real time. The unsettling feeling isn't the error, it's the detection of the error. So under this theory, people who experience déjà vu more frequently aren't showing signs of memory problems. In fact, a well-functioning conflict detection system that spots a coincidence suggests the system is working effectively. There's also a timing explanation connecting both findings. Memory researchers differentiate between 2 processes in recognition: familiarity, a quick sense that something is familiar, and recollection, the slower, more deliberate process of detailing when and where you encountered it. Usually, these processes occur closely enough that you don't notice the gap. The Gestalt familiarity hypothesis and the frontal lobe conflict theory fit together if familiarity activates first, prompted by the matching layout, arriving slightly before recollection, which fails to retrieve any matching memory. That gap, between this feels known and nothing confirms it, lands in the conflict detection areas highlighted by O'Connor's scans. A brief note on the validity of these theories. The Gestalt familiarity hypothesis has strong experimental support from Cleary's VR studies, but it's just one explanation among many. The frontal lobe conflict detection theory is backed by real fMRI evidence from O'Connor's lab, replicated across different study designs. However, Deja vu triggered in a lab setting isn't the same as the spontaneous version you might feel in a hallway, so the connection has to be inferred rather than proven. It's also important to differentiate ordinary deja vu from a rare phenomenon, frequent, prolonged deja vu associated with temporal lobe epilepsy, which is a different medical issue and not what most people experience once every few months. So, next time deja vu hits you, that brief feeling of certainty about a place you've never been, you'll understand what's actually going on. Somewhere in your brain, a quiet quality control system just caught your memory trying to mislead you, and it succeeded. Tell me in the comments, when was the last time you felt this? Were you in a new place or somewhere you had actually been but couldn't quite place?